Hello, everybody. Sorry, I didn't get a video done yesterday and today. Again, my voice, trying here with this. But I'm still working on my, getting rid of my Christmas cotton yarn, making some tea towels, and I had 3 more sets I finished last night. So I'm still working on it. I still have, it was one of those things I bought like a whole bunch of it. I got it on a really good price, and I was selling a ton of Christmas washcloths at the time. But then they sort of petered off a little bit, and then I didn't make as many as I got yarn for, so here we are. And it's just been sitting in a box, so I'm trying to use it up. And this way, if we sell stuff, I can get fresh. You know, I don't like letting cotton sit around too terribly long because it will break down eventually. And I don't want that. Although this Lily Sugar and Cream lasts forever and ever and ever. So, I mean, I'm just using, I have the cones, and then I have the balls in the green. I have cones in red, and then the variegated Christmas. So, happy Thursday. I was just sitting here watching some YouTube. So watching some hoarding cleanup. And what else was I watching? Not much. I watched some canning videos this morning. I don't know why I'm like so super obsessed with like people doing farmstead and canning, and I find it interesting. I like to watch Little Mountain Ranch and the Homesteading with the Zimmermans, and they do a lot of like gardening and then preserving and stuff like that, and I find it fascinating. I don't know, I mean, I don't have the kind of property to have that kind of stuff, but I love watching it and seeing what they're doing. And I watched Loose Ends with Mikey from Crochet Crowd tonight. He had a lady on who's only been crocheting for like a year and a half, and she's doing phenomenal. My God, phenomenal stuff. So it's really cool. I love Mikey from Crochet Crowd. He's hilarious. Said I was looking at some clearance stuff on Mary Maxim, but I did not put an order in yet. We'll see if I do it or not. I'm considering. They do have their, today, I think it's just till tonight, there's their clearance items. And then they have $10 off coupon, I think it is, on their website if you spend $49 or more. So, we'll see. I don't know. I'm going to think about it a little bit more. I don't need more yarn, and we have a lot of birthdays and stuff to spendy on right now, so, but that's okay. What else? There's not much else new. Still trying to get my voice back a little bit. Still trying to feel a little bit better. Had a bit of a migraine today, which is good and bad at the same time. So I usually get them like the hormonal migraines. So usually that means it's a good thing, but we'll see. Because with this perimenopause, Lord knows, it is brutal. That's all I have to say. Brutal when you don't have health insurance and you can't really afford to go to the doctor. You can't really afford health insurance to go to the doctor. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. I know I was watching Mama La Michaela. I'm praying for her, hoping she's doing okay. I know she's really been on the struggle bus lately. Waiting to see if she has a video out tonight for, she's been in the ER twice in the last couple of days, and she said she feels so horrible. And, I feel for her. Now, today she's supposed to be in Shreveport for an infusion, so I'm kind of curious to see what happened. Hope she posts a video tonight. Let us know. If she's all right, I worry about her. I know, you you start watching some of these people on YouTube and you feel like you get to know them even though you've never met them. And now I'm like, my heart goes out. I'm like, spent the whole day like, I wonder how she made out at the doctor. I wonder how her trip to Shreveport was. I hope she's feeling a little bit, is she feeling okay? Or, and you get to know these people and you start worrying about them. And then of course, Russ from It's Raining Yarn hasn't been on at night because he's been working all sorts of overtime. So I've been watching Marcelena, who is Lady Crochet from the Netherlands. I really like her. She's a really nice lady. And if you're not following her, you should watch her. She's really interesting. And she does amazing crochet stuff. I mean, I know she's been crocheting forever and ever, but she does amazing crochet. She really does. And see if I can move you guys over a little bit so I can have to see it. Sit stupid. Ooh. Nope, that's not the right way. There you go. That's a little better. Yeah, so I don't have a whole lot new, unfortunately. I didn't get any new yarn or anything, or I'm still just working on these Christmas sets. Trying to use up some of this yarn that I bought forever and ever ago. Make up some of these dishcloths and washcloth kitchen sets. I think they're really cool. Other than that, it's just been kind of, I did start watching on Netflix, if you have Netflix and you like girly shows, Sullivan's Crossing. It's done by the same people who do Virgin River. I'm not saying it's quite as good as Virgin River because I love Virgin River. It is one of my favorite Netflix shows. I really, really like that show. But I'm not saying it's quite as good as Virgin River, but I'm hooked. There's only 2 seasons, but there is 2 seasons at this point. And I'm partway through season 1. I was binge watching it yesterday, and it's really good. So Sullivan's Crossing, if you like girly shows, it's basically about this woman who grew up in Nova Scotia, like at a campground that her dad owns, that her grandfather owned. It's been in the family for many years. Well, when she was 15, basically her mom got divorced from her dad and moved her to Boston, where she became a neurosurgeon. But now her whole life sort of, and I'm not giving anything away, we're at a point where she had this perfectly planned out life and now everything got upended. So she's dealing with her past and her present and her future and stuff like that. It's a good show. I really like it. So I do recommend, if you I like the characters so far. It's been there's of course a little bit of over dramatization, but isn't there always in these kinds of shows? So but other than that, yeah, I don't have anything super exciting to talk about. Kids are going to band camp every day, except for Fridays. They don't have to go Fridays because the school's closed. But other than that, this week's been kind of boring. Just another summer week, too much to talk about, and not even working on anything super exciting, just kind of trudging through with these. There's just what I need right now. They're simple and I can just work on them. I do my washcloths and my dish towels. They're not hard. I mean, these I start at. These are the. Now I have to border these yet. I put a border on them like this. But these I just, if you want to know the pattern, I just chain 26 and then I do half double crochets. And that's how it gets kind of that wavy pattern. And then I do it until I can fold it corner to corner. And then you know it's a square. It's a trick if anybody didn't know that one. And then I just can do the border around them. And then my washcloth or my dish towels are 52. I do 52 across chain. And then I do 42 rows. So that's how you get the dish towel. And then I'll put a border on that too, obviously. But I'm working on trying to get rid of some of this yarn that's been all over the place for so long. And make it into stuff so that I can sell it. These will be available. Once I get pictures taken, it'll be available on the Etsy. I'll let you know when I drop them. I am so far behind on pictures in Etsy. Oh my God. I need people to model the wearables. I have a ton of wearables, like a ton of wearables that need to get pictures taken. And of course, I need my husband and kids to model for me, which, you know, now I have 2 teenagers who don't want to do it. And my husband's always overwhelmed with everything going on around the house. So I'm trying to work and trying to take the kids to all these activities. And so it's like trying to get them to take. And then, of course, you know, my husband has his own podcast. He does another podcast with a friend of his. And then, of course, my kids and my husband do their own YouTube channel for the D&D. So trying to get everybody to like have a little chunk of time where like, okay, we need to model these pieces so that I can get them up on my Etsy shop. It has not been, some of them, it's been months and they've been sitting here. So hopefully one of these weeks I get them to, once everything settles down. Of course, then school, next thing you know, school will be starting. And next week the kids go away for their annual elk trip with their aunts up to Benazet. So that's going to be interesting for them. So, yeah. So they have that going on. Let's see what else. Not too much else. I don't have anything super exciting. I don't even have anything to like gab on about today, which is unusual for me. Oh, so I know what I could talk about. So I was watching this show. It's called Midwest Magic Cleaning. And this guy was cleaning up a hoarded house. And he was talking about this lady's in her 70s. And one of the things he was talking about was like how you don't, people in the comments say like, where are her kids? Where is her family? You know, and he's like, you don't realize that when people are really like hoarders, that their family has been trying forever and ever and ever. And it's really, really hard to get them to do anything about it. And I understand that completely because, I mean, I grew up, my mom's mom was a hoarder. I mean, there was so much stuff in that house. Funny story. I had been living with this guy. I moved out when I was 19. And I moved in with this guy that I had met. We had been dating a while. And we moved in together. And I thought I could fix him. I was young and stupid. And, you know, I thought, oh, you know, he just needs, nobody ever really taught him right, blah, blah, blah. Well, that was the furthest thing from the truth. He was just a piece of poop sickles. This is what I'm going to say on here. And ended up, that's a whole nother story. I could tell you at some time if you want. But I ended up kicking him out. He had lost his job. He wasn't paying any bills anymore. And then I caught him cheating on me. We'll just say that. I caught him in the house, in my apartment, cheating on me. So, I, of course, a lot of the stuff that was in my apartment was his stuff. And so when he moved out, of course, I didn't really have a whole lot of furniture. So my grandmother, on my mom's side, she said, oh, she was so proud of me for, she sat me down one time and she, I told her basically what happened. And she was so proud of me for being a strong woman. And she said, she said something to me at that point that I always think back on. And she said, she said, of all my grandchildren, of which she has quite a few, she said, you're the only one I don't have to worry about. She said, I know you're going to be okay. And that meant a lot to me, you know what I mean? And so she said to me, she said, well, she wanted to give me, she said, I have a table with 12 chairs that would probably work good for your apartment, at least you have a table to sit at. And I was like, okay. So she's like, well, now my uncle still lives, well, he still to this day lives in that house. And she's like, well, I can't let him know that I'm giving it to you because he gets funny about me giving stuff away. And I said, okay. So she's like, you have to come over before he gets off before he leaves work. And I was like, that's no problem, So I went over there to pick up the table. And when I get there, she's like, I have looked all over the house. I can't find it. She lost a table with 12 chairs in the house. That's how hoarded this house is. A table with 12 chairs she lost. So she was like, but I found this library table. Do you want this? And instead, so I took it. And it's a beautiful table. It's a beautiful antique library table. In fact, my son has it in his room now. I used to use it as my computer desk for the longest time. But then when COVID hit and they had to do online schooling, we had to quick scramble to get desks for their rooms. And we ended up, because we went for like one day to the next, and all of a sudden we needed desks, So we didn't, and of course, like at the time, like everybody else, we didn't know money-wise, like to go buy desks if we should, and everybody else was buying desks. So we ended up just repurposing. My husband had one of those old sewing tables that used to have the sewing machine in it. So we used that for my older son's desk. And then I gave my younger son my library table. We just built, we bought like a big desk blotter thing to put over it so that, he wouldn't scratch it up or whatever. But it's a sturdy table. I mean, it's built better than anything I've ever seen, I don't know how old it is, but it's not new whatsoever. So that's what she gave me. She gave me this library table, and of course that caused a whole fuss in the family and whatever, but that's a whole nother story. But what I was getting at was, so my mom also has hoarding tendencies. Now, she's not as bad as like when you watch Hoarders or something like that, because the main part of the house is not cluttered like that. You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of stuff in the living room, but like every available storage space is just chock full of crap. In fact, like my old room, what used to be my room, like, I wasn't gone how long, and the bed got shoved up, picked up, everything got leaned against the wall, and they just put stuff and stuff and stuff in there, and then they have a couple other storage areas that are just covered with stuff. So she's not like the hoarders like you see on, like I said, like, she's not like hoarders level hoarder, but she's a hoarder. And I know all too well about, like, he was talking about the family members get tired of it, and like, I would go, like, I'm going to go through some of this stuff, and she would get so upset. Like, what are you throwing away? What are you getting rid of? And, like, the stuff that's expired, like, I go through the cabinets in the kitchen, and it's like, what are you getting rid of? What are you getting rid of? I'm like, some of this has been out of date for years. Well, expiration dates are just, they're not real. I'm like, ew. Like, I could see, like, okay, saying a can of something is a couple months out, like, it expired in June, it's August, probably still okay. But, like, 5 years later, 10 years later, no. So, yeah. So there's that. So I know all too well about what this, these hoarding situations, and how difficult it is to deal with the family member who doesn't want you to throw anything away. Oh, that was my mother. She used to get upset when I would throw my stuff away. Like, I want to get rid of it. So, yeah. All right. So it's not going to be a super long video today, but I want to get something made. So I hope you all have a great night, or tomorrow morning if you see this on Friday. Sorry it's so late. I just wanted to get something out today. I love you all. I appreciate each and every one of you, and choose love every day. All right. Bye, everybody.